up a seat at the bar to join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tanzan, Maggie, and me bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 13.13, Bony Tony, where we are covering the novel Deadbeat. My name is Tanzan, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello, hello.
And Jess. Chapter 14. Dresden and Butters return to the Forensic Institute to find any information they can. Butters gets a look at Bartleby's body, which has been cut up and eviscerated, while Butters is performing the examination of Eduardo Mendoza. Bartleby's research assistants show up to claim his possessions, one of which Harry discovers is a ghoul. Harry rejoins Butters and finally recognizes Mendoza as Bony Tony, the smuggler who has been hiding a thumb drive in his stomach.
I would like to quick shout out. You said Butters and Bartleby's body without tripping once. Well done.
Thank you. I was trying not to jinx myself. I'm like, this is going surprisingly well.
Not one. And you had that right smack dab in the middle. So well played, Tanzan. Yes. So Butters is having fun playing with the new SUV that they went and got because we've just...
Yeah, since the last chapter in this one, they've driven all the way to Helsinki, which is crazy.
Maybe the car's lost?
Well, and I love how excited he is for all the stuff that's in there that's really just like basic.
Nowadays,
cars.
generic.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You could fit a whole CD collection inside the changer in this player. Like,
It'd actually be nice to bring some of these things back. I wish cars had CD players again. Now, if you can't get your Bluetooth to connect, you just listen in silence.
Yes. I was going to say, I was like, what you could do, but I see what you're saying. Yes, if you're having any of those problems where they don't want to connect properly. Yup, I agree. Although, I don't know. Yes and no. Because can you just imagine if I had to keep a whole CD collection in my car?
I used to have one of those.
Well, you wouldn't. You do what everyone else does, and you stick to like 2.
Or like the visor things that you'd like slide like 4 or 5 mixed CDs in.
But I'd never get it back in. It would be that for a while, and then I'd be like suddenly trying to change music because of a red light, and all of a sudden I'd just like drop it on the seat while I tried to cram the other one in, and then it would fall on the floor and
Get shoved into the glove box.
Yeah, and then it would get covered in like pop cans, and then I'd just have like random CDs everywhere that I couldn't find, and I'd have like a 16 disc changer with like one CD in there that I was listening to the entire time, and it would be the one that you were like either the one Christmas album that you now have to listen to year round, or like the
children's ABCs Baby Shark collection.
Maybe, or I was gonna say, or the one like weird where you just wanted to hear like one thing, you were in like one specific mood, but now that's like all you're listening to for the, it was like the, I don't know, Trans-Siberian Choir is like the only thing that's coming to mind, but I'm like, that's not that weird. That's just, but yeah, the one alt something that I can't think of a good.
I actually used to have a 10-disc player in my Geo Metro.
Did you? I did.
I put a 10-inch sub and a 10-disc player.
I don't know. I honestly don't remember if I ever had more than a 1-disc CD in any of my vehicles. But then I definitely wasn't driving the hottest, newest, latest model like Georgia here.
I think that stereo system actually had cost more than the car did.
Yeah, right. But you're that person. You're like, I don't give a shit about the car, but give me my music. I can remember with my ex and buying like a Discman and that being super cool because we could plug the aux cord into the car and play it over the speakers.
Right. Or you had the tape changer that like...
Or the tape changer, yeah, where you plug the cassette in and then the little cord stuck out of your... Yeah, because we had the tape deck and stuff like that, and then it was just... I remember that was when we did,
it was so exciting when it had anti-skip technology. Oh my god!
Right! Especially the way he drove. I mean... Yes. Yeah, now it's got onboard Bluetooth GPS, but no.
So they've got to go to Butters' job because that's where Bartlesby's body has been sent, and obviously Harry wants to know about all these other problems that's going on, and he decides the best way to do that is by onboarding Butters to the situation, and Butters is very much...
I'm fine. I'm good with
I was happy if you're
very
well protected.
Oh, Harry, don't. I will take me back to the corner to hide.
I'm with you there, Butters.
I love Butters.
It seems like such a... I don't know, I'm sure there's a literary term for it that I am not aware of, but moment in a book where it's like, are you going to be an NPC or are you going to be a sidekick? And Harry's just like, okay, thus far you've been NPC. Today you are graduating to sidekick. And Butters is like, no, I like being the NPC.
NPC,
yeah.
Don't know.
I don't want to be helping you in your quests and things. And Harry's like, I can't talk to Michael right now. I can't talk to Murph. Emmy it is.
Yeah, I like that. Butter does not want to graduate from NPC at all. I feel that. Literally, when I was like confirmation, and they were like, "Oh, you've actually been doing really well. You can like," I'm like, "No, I don't want to. No, don't put me in front where people are gonna like look at me and do things." I'm like, and so yeah, I was like totally.
Oh
like,
yeah, you turned down being an altar boy.
No, it had nothing to do with being an altar boy.
You said confirmation. You're like, you're doing really good in church.
Which is this one ceremony thing that you go to. So when you get baptized, your parents are like, yeah, they promise to love and serve God. And then when you get old enough, like 12,
you do
13.
it yourself. You promise to love
you
God.
confirm that problem by saying, yes, I'm going to continue. But yeah, at that point, they made everybody take classes because people were dumb and nobody taught their kids how to do anything anymore. But yeah, so that was all it was. So during that one thing at church... And there's a portion where you carry the gifts up to the altar. And they're like, hey, you can have this job. And I'm like, no, people will see me.
I like God, but not that much. I'm not doing anything in front of witnesses for God.
And then it was just so funny because then these other kids are like, I'll do it. And yeah, but that was I'm like, no, I'll just stay an NPC. Thank you very much. I'm like, I appreciate the offer, but no.
Blend in with the crowd.
Right?
Yeah, it's always this Facebook post. It's like, why do people in apocalyptic movies have such will to live?
Yeah, right.
Same. If you don't have indoor flushing and internet, kill me.
I'm right.
Let me go. I don't need to rebuild the population. I'm fine. Resurrect me in 1,000 years when you figured it out again.
Yeah. There are some days where I'm like, like, honestly, it doesn't seem appealing, but I'm pretty sure the zombies would just get me.
Resurrect you in 1,000. Would that make you the next Fry?
No, she's got 3 days or that's it. We're still heading back to the Forensic Institute, which they confirmed because Butters was like, why are we? And Harry's like, well, Rawls just said nobody knows what the fuck is going on. So obviously they must have cleaned up their shit. So it's safe to go back. Otherwise, cops would have been crawling. People would have been knocking down your door. You'd be in a whole lot more. So since nobody's done anything, we can just pretend that nothing happened too. So
it was a great point.
Go back to the scene of the crime because there's no crime.
Had they arrived at a crime scene and they find Phil, the security guard,
out on
dead
the
body or
whatever,
whatnot, or if no Phil's the security guard, but just a lot of viscera,
broken things,
whatever. Butters missing would have meant that Harry is like aiding and abetting and hiding a criminal. So that was a huge risk for Harry to take on, taking him home too.
He would have just been a person of interest because they don't know that Butters is the one that slashes.
Could have also been kidnapped.
Exactly right. They could assume that Butters is a missing person. So but yes, it would have raised questions one way or the other.
And then. Also, when Harry was there a few days ago, he happened to take a look at all the dead bodies' names currently on slab, up for...
on deck?
On deck.
Mendoza's in the cage, and I don't know.
And happened to notice him and just thought that was weird. And then a few days later, 12 hours later, he's like, wait a second.
Mm-hmm. I like how... This was an interesting, so I like, okay, so yeah, they get there and everything, get clean, tidy. So first of all, I'm like, okay, there maybe wasn't a whole lot of stuff to, like, the building, right? Like, he didn't throw anybody out, like, the front glass doors or something, like, at Bocks or whatever, right? So I'm like, okay. But they slit dude's throat at his desk. I hear that stuff is kind of difficult to clean up and stuff. And I'm like, it's not even just fine if it was just like on the floor. But I'm like, guy was sitting at his desk. He was reading a magazine and stuff like that. I'm like, doesn't this become one of those things where how do you get it off all the little itty bitty items and fine, okay, you can throw the magazine in the garbage. Nobody's going to remember if Dead Phil's magazine is still, but you know what I mean? The pens, the pencils, the computer screen.
What happened to our stapler?
How did they miraculously clean, the seat cushion crack chair things that he would, you know what I mean?
Maybe Gervain has a deal with his own fairies.
Maybe. That would...
A really nifty magic spell that would clean things up.
Yeah. You should try that, Harry.
Maybe he just necromanced the blood to dance its way out the door.
I don't know, but yeah. But then I sort of like this little exchange where Casey's like, he's not like, oh, I'm like a total like little man syndrome. I'm a security guard, but I'm like, I'm like, he just is doing his thing, right? He's like, not like, but yeah, he does his job. He's interested. He kind of wants to know what's going on, right? So he's like, hey, Butters, how's it going? The pleasantry. And then he's like, who you got with you? And it's like, no, this is a real legit guy.
I do like the Butters is a very upset. He's suspicious of us. He's watching us. Yeah, they're paid to do that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Keep walking. Don't act suspicious.
Exactly, right?
And paranoia has kicked in.
Yeah, but...
I mean, rightly so, like, poor guy.
I was going to say Butters handles it pretty well, because I was going to say, I do like that they sort of, it's enough to be like, okay, yeah, this is a security guy that cares about his job and knows enough, but is not like some crazy psycho or anything like that.
You were
right?
witness to a murder last night and didn't report it. That's a crime.
Yeah, but also that, like, Butters, for all his, like, I'm not cut out for this, holds his cool pretty good. He's like, well, I didn't know. Like, yeah, he's like a little like, oh, maybe he left early, right? But he doesn't completely blow his shit all over the thing and be like, oh.
To me, though, it feels as though Harry's got the gun pressed against his back. Act normal. Let's go to your office. Don't screw this up for us.
A little bit. I mean, yes, obviously Butters tries not to engage like too much or anything but exactly it's not super over. He's like, I'm just gonna try not to say too much and just, right. But this is the other thing. I'm like, when they get to Butters' office, I'm like, they picked up his desk and flipped it. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe this is just too much, again, movie magic, where, the shopping cart rolls across the lot and, like, bursts into flames. I get that, I'm like, yeah, you're right. If I was at home and I knocked my computer off my desk, I wouldn't expect it to, like, smash into a million pieces or, like, blow up and start smoking. But at the same time, again, reading in a book, I don't know if I just have different expectations. So just part of me is like, they trashed his office. How does it look like nothing happened? Shit should be, like, broken and dented and...
Those fairies, man.
And then again, I'm just like again, even, like, the desktop, like, the tower may be fine if they just... But I'm like... They managed not to smell, like, even an old CRT or something. I'm like, I feel like...
This is old and early 2000s equipment. You could throw it across the room and it was still good to go, okay?
It's probably sitting on the floor, too, the PC.
They were still using...
It was on his desk.
No, the tower she means when she says PC.
Oh, sorry, because...
She's a tech person.
Sorry, because my brain, I was thinking of the monitor, too, and I was like, I feel like if he, like, not... I'm like, again, if he just, like, fell off, but I was like, yeah, if he, like, picked up and, like, flipped, you know what I mean? I'm like, that just seems to me... I feel like that monitor should have at least cracked or something, if not actually, like, shattered. But yeah,
I agree.
I don't know.
It's convenient. It's extremely convenient for everyone.
That was I get wanting to clean up the scene. I just feel like was maybe bits that should have been a little bit more damaged than it was.
I think
that.
Butters opens up his desk and everything's like
random.
That's where all the shit is.
I was gonna say,
where's this blood in here?
If Butters really has
landlord went
a room that only Butters use, you wouldn't even have to clean that one up. You're like, fuck this guy, lock the door behind you. We'll clean up the outside hall, but...
Okay, but Gervais won't necessarily know that much about if anybody else uses the other rooms, but yeah.
Well, this is... Okay, but here's my question. How did Gervais know that Butters worked the night shift? Because it's weird. If you're tracking down this guy's body and you showed up in the middle of the night because you needed Butters to do this thing, you're specifically looking after an employee who can't perform magic, so you're showing up in the middle of the night hoping there's an employee there.
I think, yeah.
Well, it's weird to me. I was like, I still feel like you'd need to show up in the daytime to be like, oh, hey, can you fucking cut open this guy's throat for me? Like,
no,
did you recover any items on the body that maybe I could have? The middle of the night, how did you know anyone was going to be there, Gervain?
I feel like maybe that is a thing, though. I mean, again, I don't know anybody in real life that does this kind of work, but in all the other cop shows and everything, there's almost always a night shift for this stuff. I feel like, death doesn't sleep, right? Like,
well, not in Kathy Reich. She works like Monday to Friday unless she gets called to a grisly murder scene.
She's also like super up there. You don't know. There might be like peons fucking working the overnight shift. I mean,
the author is super up there, not her character. Her character is a peon.
If only we knew another podcast that has
a medical
examiner. But yes, I don't know if this is a reality versus fantasy thing or not, but I feel like it's common enough that there are people. I mean, again, I get like hospitals should always have night staff, so I feel like there's...
Yeah, but they're already dead. There's no urgency at a morgue.
There is, again, yes and no, right? Not for them, but...
There's Monday to Friday between business hour urgency.
Okay.
I'm not saying that Butters not having a night shift isn't a thing. I'm saying assuming that the morgue has a night shift is a weird thing.
Okay, so I got a couple points here. I'm like, one, again, big city, it might not be, I mean, we know Butters already went through all this shit. So it might be well known that they're like, oh yeah, this guy got, or not necessarily Butters, but people got demoted, that there's a night shift to go to, right? Also, Gravane deals in the dead. So if he's going to know if fucking people are working the night shift or not for him to go and collect bodies, I'm pretty sure he's going to know if these places are, right? You have to go all the time at the least occupied hours. So Gravane is always going to the morgue in the middle of the night.
Assuming Butters is already on his radar, it could be as simple as like making a phone call and be like, hey, when's he in next?
Again, if he's specifically stalking Butters, then fine. Maybe he just know Butters' schedule.
Yeah.
But we don't already know this. But as we will learn in this book, the fresher the body, the easier the control. So he makes his own. He killed Phil right on the spot rather than raise some random body that was already back there in the morgue.
Right.
I'm gonna kill Phil, someone who's not even dead, in this house of dead people.
Phil. Yeah. Yeah. And
A good point, eh? Yeah.
somewhat fair. I feel somewhat just a little bit that you do have definitely a valid point, but just being that this is like Gravane's stock and trade kind of a thing, I feel like
I'm not that heated about it.
No.
I just think it's weird that if I'm gonna go tracking down things, I'm not gonna be like, you know what, 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, someone's
that
probably...
they showed up and there's a couple cars in the lot, so obviously, I mean...
He was coming for a stakeout and he's like, oh, people are here already, great, let me go destroy this truck right now.
Right? Like, yeah, who knows? Because it wasn't even initially like super duper late when Harry, because his meeting with Maubrey you already established was like at 7 o'clock, right? And then it wasn't that long after that he went, right? So it might not even have been like super duper late. Maybe Gravane is just like, I don't know, maybe they're still open at like 9 or 10. Let me just swing by and see. And
so the initial plan is to have Butters go and exhume Bartlesby's body.
You're really getting ahead of yourself now.
Examine, whatever. And unfortunately, the body's already been claimed by his boss because it's going to be high press, whatever. So Butters decides he'll just sneak into the room and see what he can see before Brioche gets to it.
I think as less he decides that Harry's like, can you go do it? Because he really doesn't want... Butters is not like, let me go sneak in. Harry's like, can we get a look at that?
Butters does fall a little bit into his job in this moment, though. He gains a little bit of confidence doing it, because he's like, just wait here and I'll go figure this shit out. You stay here. And when he comes back, the story he's got to tell is that this guy has been brutally murdered, horribly murdered. 40 stab wounds, missing the quadriceps, fucking...
His face is in a baggie next to him.
Like
all the bits of it, not just his face, but the bits. It's like Mr. Potato Head. It's like, yeah, this is unpleasant. And then
he's missing all his insides.
Yeah, so he's been eviscerated, which I'm like, how? And I'm like, it's not even us, like a little Y. And, I'm like, they sort of half done your autopsy for you here. But no, but he's done like the act, not so, we all know this by now, right?
The Y incision.
Exactly, right? All of our crime, exactly the way. No, he's just got an X and it's been split open like a Chinese takeout container.
Very descriptive.
Right? These people are gross. So, yeah.
So, as they're discussing theories, Harry's like, well, there's this thing called anthropomancy.
Anthropomancy, that's what it was.
An attempt to divine the future or gain information by reading human entrails. Gross? Who needs to know the future that bad?
This is what Butters wants to know.
Nasty.
Surely that can't be a thing. Well, it's really difficult. You get an automatic death sentence if you try it.
Yeah, big no-no.
So apparently it does, because otherwise nobody would do it. I'm like, I just remember, like, at first when Harry was explaining this, I just remember feeling like it was going to go in the exact opposite way, right? Like, he's going to be like, I don't know, right? Like, it just takes so much power. And then he's like, no, he finishes it up with, so obviously it's got to work if people are going to be bothered to take this risk. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No, because then it gives more reason for people to need or want to do, right? Like, that's, yeah, not cool at all. And yeah, obviously Brioche has snapped this up because Butters is like, well, he's probably going to get some press time over this. So of course he's going to take the hype. Oh, because that was it too, because it was flagged to be looked at right away. Miss, it's in the morgue. It's not going anywhere. They don't need to rush. But obviously somebody is interested, so this one's going to rush. Somebody they figure political or law enforcement or something is like, we want to know right
Figure
away.
this out right off the bat. Which is fair, you gotta... Someone who's not an American citizen getting brutally murdered, people are demanding questions.
In some kind
The British government might be like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, some kind of high-profile institute. I don't know if the Field Museum is like a private thing or a government thing, but either way, getting murdered there is probably not it's not some random pharmacy on Whacker. It's like everybody knows the Field Museum and right? Like big news all over the place, so.
It was Sue. Get her.
Spoilers.
So because they can't work on Bartlesby, they're gonna go to the next best thing and try out this Tony guy because...
That's the one on Butters' list. Part of it. And
why, though? Why do they care right now?
Oh, because this is what they're still trying to figure out. Because this was the one on the list when he showed up the night before.
Right, when Gravane
showed up. So that's their only connection right now is they're like... Because, they've established that, it's not Butters so much. They would have taken whoever was there working on it, right? They just want... Or as far as Harry can tell, the link is to this corpse. So what is it about this corpse? So that's why Butters is going to go ahead and do his job. And because they have no other reason to link him to Bartlesby wasn't there yet. He wasn't even dead yet. So they couldn't have come looking for him. And there was that small niggle, right? Like Harry doesn't know what it is, but it tickled his forebrain there or whatever, right? And then, it's been assigned to him or whatever. So
it's just so weird to me that Gravane would leave it behind. And even as we learned later on that Gravane couldn't do much with it, I still feel like you could take the body with you so that, as we'll see in the next scene, no one else can show up and start asking for this body. Like,
maybe. Well, the others don't either, but again, maybe because, like you say, why put the rest of it back to rights then, right? If he had put everything else back to rights and then absconded with his body, it still would have left people looking, shut it down as you know what I mean? So maybe until, like you say, he can get the specifics of what he needs, don't mess with it. And he doesn't even necessarily know what I guess he's got a better idea because he knows he needs Butters, but... Anyway.
So it just seems thus far to be a little bit bizarre.
A little bit weak.
Now.
A little bit weak for you.
It's a little bit weak for me, and especially because it's not until the end of this chapter that you get the answers to all these questions, and it seems a little bit backwards for me. It's like thus far you're just like, let's just do this because who knows? Randomly, we have to do something. Let's just randomly do this one, and then at the end of the chapter you're like, oh, that's why this guy matters. But all the characters are also like, oh, that's why. It's not like Harry's been leading us astray this whole time, being like, I'll tell you guys next chapter why I care so much. Like he does it sometimes other times.
Yeah.
I go and place a phone call, but I'm not telling you to who yet. Yeah. This time he's like, I literally have no clue, but at the end of the chapter, I'll suddenly have a clue, and it'll be nice that I didn't waste all this time beforehand. I just told Butters to do it anyways. Like,
I get you have some point, but I don't know that I necessarily felt the same way.
More like the subconscious is at work instead.
Yeah.
I mean, I get having a gut feeling. This one just seemed really random to me. I just feel like you have more important things to do than focus on a random body.
But it's the $64,000 question.
No, I don't think it is.
Leave that behind.
Gravane showing up, I don't think the connection to the body is established. He shows up and says, I want the medical examiner, not I want the body. I want the medical examiner to check the body. He shows up and says, I want Butters, blah, blah, blah.
I want Butters in his British accent that does not exist.
That's a vampire. That's a Dracula accent. What the hell?
Yeah, which is not what Gravane was. He's not a vampire, and he's...
Not Romanian, but I still think that my accent...
Had a British accent.
So Harry leaves the room while Butters starts the examination, and while he's waiting, Bartleby's assistants show up, and Alicia produces paperwork that has granted her power of attorney and claims that she needs personal stuff.
Wow!
Yes,
I need it now!
Thanks to Rollins, he knows who they look like, what they look like.
See, I have more questions about this. About like Gravane showing up and why they need Butters and they didn't take the body and stuff like that. So, first of all, I like how Harry's like, do you need a hand? And Butters like, no, I'm better. And Harry's like, thank God. Harry's like, I really don't want to stick around for this. So he conveniently is back in the waiting room when these guys show up. But I'm like, okay, so again, as we find out from their conversation in a couple of minutes, they aren't just these grad students who they appear to be. They're not just a sweet little curly-haired girl and some Asian guy. Why didn't they take these important belongings while they were having a picnic with his body? I don't know. Take the shit out of his pocket while you're there?
Oh, yeah, right.
Right? Like, you had time to gut him, slice off bits and pieces, do whatever.
I mean, unless it's like a feeding frenzy and he just sort of lost his mind. I don't...
That would make sense for the ghoul, but
she was still there too.
She was the one doing the tarot cards with his guts. So I feel like either while he's waiting around for her to finish so he can grab his stakes, she could have been like, hey, go through his pockets in his desk. Or while she was doing her thing, when she was done, she could have gone through and picked out whatever she needed and then be like, all right, go ahead and grab us. You know what I mean?
I agree. Also super weird. We don't know the situation if he started screaming or if they made a bunch of noise while stripping him apart. But yeah, I feel like you would have had a lot of opportunity before that to pick up his shit.
But the bits were like, I'm thinking this has got to take time. The bits were all there. They didn't take all the bits, would be like, hey, let's grab his organs. We'll go home and do a seance. They did it there. So obviously they had time to do whatever. If they had time to kill, gut, slice off, perform,
and get out of there before anyone discovered there
and then go, I feel like, yeah, right?
No, I agree that.
Whatever
so weird.
Keys, safe codes, anything that he may have had on his, that she wants, whatever possessions, have now followed him to the morgue. I'm like, wow, you're dumb. It's like, this seems even worse to me than Gravane just being like, I'm gonna check out and see if the morgue's open in the middle of the night, you know?
No, that one was also strange.
Yeah, I never understood that one. I'm like, Meanwhile, he's trying to think very ignore me, hide in the corner, I'm not really here thoughts. You're lucky. If this was me, I would have actually fallen asleep. I would have pretended so good. I actually would have.
Not a problem, especially on how little sleep he's running at this point.
Right.
So he manages to get his way back into the room, and he's all, we gotta get out of here, Butters. They found us. Another one bites the dust.
Or it's about to.
About to.
Let's go before. Yeah.
Well, that and Harry, like, sort of overhears, was it Shian?
Shian, yeah. I think.
Call Alicia his lord.
Yeah.
And, like, this irreverence.
Yeah, that kind of
figure out that she's quite important somehow.
Which raises a bigger flag with Harry, because ghouls are not all that whatever, but they're tough and they're mean. So for it to, have this reverence, that thing's got to be, like, tougher and meaner, right? So, yeah, that's kind of what he's like, wait, like, a ghoul is bad enough. He's already completely unimpressed that he's dealing with a ghoul. But the fact that it's got something that it looks up to and will follow orders for is just a whole other magnitude of bad. So again, thankfully, Harry has conveniently left his staff behind, which may or may not. I feel like this has been also a theme of things I've seen recently where it's like you leave something behind at someone's house so you have an excuse to go back. And so, yeah, Harry maybe he purposely left it behind just in case he needed an excuse to go back. I don't know.
I think he could have just easily as well had
just go back again.
Call Butters and be like, oh, he wants to go back there again. He's bored out here. Like,
yeah, right.
But either way, he gets to go back and get his cane, and it's all good. Because Casey still even calls Butters and gets the approval before he lets Harry do it. So
Which again, I kind of like. It was one of those things where I wasn't really expecting. Because again, I'm like, oh, he already went in with Butters. I figured he'd just be like, yeah. But again, I'm like, I don't know, one of those little details. I guess maybe he had to make up. Maybe Butcher was like, okay, you know what? I got a couple of like.
Phil can be paid off with beer. I got to have an employee who's actually good at their job.
Well, not even just that, but he's like, I got a couple of weak storylines. I'm like, this bitch Jess someday will come up and be like, why did Gravane need to go to the morgue in the middle of the night? And why did Alicia just pickpocket his stuff while she had the body? So he's like, I'm going to just cover it up with some other stuff here. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to make this guy like actually check and then like call back and be like, hey, can this guy, like, you already, I don't know if you sent him out or told him to go or whatever, but yeah, you're working. Can I send him back while you're doing an autopsy on this body or whatever?
I do think that Casey is the best security guard of this book because yes, Phil took on beer and the other guy was arguing that a murder is not a good enough reason.
And he's still alive at this point. That's not going for him.
Congrats, Casey. You haven't been murdered yet.
Casey. Yes, way to go. You have the security guard award from
All that to say, when Harry finally gets back there, he decides to finally actually use his brain and figure out who the hell Eduardo is because, he has another name that he goes by. That's not fair.
Because Butters hasn't solved it for him yet.
Yeah.
Butters has had like 10 minutes to do this autopsy. It
like an hour. We know it's been like an hour.
Has it been that long? Okay. But yeah, exactly, right?
So sure enough, he's a smuggler. He used to swallow things, fill him up in a balloon and swallow it. Sounds really uncomfortable to have a balloon filled with items sitting at your throat all day long until you can yank it out.
With the string, like, just hanging out there.
Okay, but this is the point. It's not in his throat, because I think that would. He swallows it down enough that it goes.
And then you yank it out that far? No, I think it'd be better sitting in your throat a little.
Okay, you can suppress a gag reflex. I don't think you can suppress it, like, for an entire day while something is sitting there. No. But secondly, you think that swallowing that balloon would be less comfortable than swallowing swords?
It's like constantly spraying Novocaine in the back of his throat.
Just like, isn't like the stomach acid gonna start eating your balloon? Like,
but that's why you use something like thicker or whatever, like a condom that is not going to break down as quick and easy right away. You don't go to the dollar store and get like those cheap ass balloons. You get
gross.
But I'm gonna go again. I don't know anybody that's ever done this. If we have like sword swallowers out there, feel free to weigh in. I think the most I know about this was from like an episode of Remington Steele where he was like a fire swallower or something. Jessica's like tuned out of the conversation. She's like, I can't. Wait till we tell you about the one covered in blood that he had to swallow.
So nasty.
Condoms, probably, I would assume the guy would use like the lubed ones. Make it easier to like...
Ribbed for your pleasure.
I don't know. He might not need that part. This might be where you don't want the ribbed ones, as you say. You're talking about your game.
Really tickles on the way back up, right?
You're getting some flavored condoms for this?
See, and that would be mine. I was going to say, that to me would disturb me more than the idea of this swallowing. Like, again, not pleasant, but I'm like, you know what? I can see... Because I'm like, again, Chanson was choking on cat hair before, you know? I'm like, okay, I had it with, kids of my own where I'm like, you get a hair in the back of your throat and you have to pull it out. And it feels weird, but you can do it, right? So I'm like, or same thing. I'm like, throwing up is not pleasant, but it's definitely a normal thing that everybody's experienced at least once in their life. So I'm like, it's going to be semi-similar to that. Right. But again, they train and they learn and whatever they need to do to repress that gag flex. So it's not as... Right? Yeah, obviously somebody like Jessica, this is never going to be a good career move for her. Because I'm like, she can't even talk about it, let alone actually get to the doing it. No. Obviously other people you can, right? So I'm like that, but the actual thing about like I don't know, tasting a balloon or a condom or that whole rubber, I'm like, yeah, it would have to be like, I don't know, the flavored ones or something. So I'm like, I think that would bother me a lot more than having to like swallow a balloon and bring it back up. Would be like the rubber latex taster. I'm like, that would be the part I'd be like, oh no.
Either way, they do find this balloon in his throat and it's filled with a USB. Good job, Harry.
Yeah. And yeah, Butters goes on a whole, I don't get it, what's the point? And Harry's like, hello, wizardy magic-y thing. And Butters, after Harry goes down this whole rabbit hole, because to me, this is normal. This is the internal monologue we constantly get in every sentence practically, but definitely like every chapter, right? So it's normal for us. And then all of a sudden he's like, Harry. And he's like, oh, Butters was like obviously calling my name for a long time. He goes, wow, I didn't have time to like zone out. I'm like, that's all you ever do. This is exactly the same perspective for us. Like, there are certain times even when you can like, where it does seem like you're like, okay, this is a part of it. But I was like, I just remember initially in like this whole thing, I'm like, this just seemed like your normal train of thought to me. I was like, I didn't realize that you were like zoning, this isn't the, I'm explaining to you after. This is like what I was doing in that. Yeah, I totally like zoned out on Butters. And then he's like, get the thing away from me. Poor Butters is like, but. I was like, okay, wait, sorry, I overreacted. I'm going to fry it. Okay. And yeah, like you can just see like this like sad puppy face or something on Butters. I'm like, but I thought you wanted this. Like, I just found it for you. And yeah. So now we found that there's something. And of course, again, just convenient. I mean, they need to get moving anyway, so it's just as well. But yeah, Butters' machine is too old to read this thing.
That's a really, really old machine if it doesn't have a USB. Like, that's just incredible. Like,
but again, remember, this was already like 20 years ago. So an old machine would have been like an early 90s, would have been like a good, right?
It's impressively old.
Yeah, that it did not even have.
Yeah, you're jumping to the next chapter anyway, so. Things have gotten a lot more complicated because guess who Bony Tony worked for? Mr. John Marconi. Or Marconi if you're born.
Oh, you're right, we have a
certain gentleman.
A gentleman of
disrepute.
Yeah, there you go.
And green-eyed.
Soulless green eyes. The color of faded dollar bills.
Looked like he could be a soccer coach.
A soul like a tiger.
And he was in fact
win one for the Gipper.
One of the toughest, baddest mob bosses in America.
Big bad John Marconi?
Yeah.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us to do what we do. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at www.patreon.com/freeflowrambling.
Chapter 15. Harry and Butters leave for Billy's apartment to examine the USB drive. While they check the drive, Harry checks his phone messages to find out Murphy has safely made it to Hawaii and that Shiela from Bocks thinks something is wrong at the store. After finding out the content of the drive, Harry asks Billy to take Butters back to his apartment.
So as we've already heard before, Marcone doesn't take lightly when people take hits at his guys, no matter where they fall under his organization. His guys are his guys, and he runs Chicago in a tight leash.
Right, and I like how he puts it, too, because, yeah, he's like, I don't know where in the ranks he falls, but Marcone doesn't like people taking out his guys. At least, not without his prior permission. I'm like, oh, well, thanks for clarifying that. Yeah. I'm like, it's okay, I can kill my guys. You can't kill my guys.
Nothing happens without his say-so.
Yeah. So, yeah. So we find that, yeah, usually he's a general fencer kind of smuggler type. Jewels and furniture, like basically anything he figures he can get a buck for, this guy is willing to do. Which I get for the most part, but it's interesting that he refers to him mostly as a ballooner, but then he's like, yeah, he moves furniture too. I'm like, how are you swallowing a Chesterfield? Like, good luck with that one. I'm like, did he just suddenly become like...
He's really good at his job.
Right? Like...
Miniatures, like doll furniture.
Yeah. he has like that TARDIS Hermione hand, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever I stuff in this balloon will go down my throat.
So Butters takes a moment to try to do more freaky wizard scientific analysis, and Harry's like, bro, we're about to get killed. The bad guys are in the lobby trying to get back here right now.
Yes, because this is where he's had his zone out moment. And
the only one standing between them and us is Casey, and that didn't go so well for Phil, so...
Right.
And we already know these guys don't care about leaving a mess.
But I love how this is just so, again, like, I'm like, is this just Butters regardless, or is this, again, a little bit of that, like, fear coping mechanism? That
whole stress response.
Yeah, as soon as he's presented with a thing, like, immediately he starts following that trail, right?
Let me close my mind on the fear and start doing science.
Yeah, right? Exactly, Because, it's like, there's no, okay, so the electromagnetic field, it's like, Butters not, yeah. Yeah. So he's like, keep that thing away from me. I don't want to touch it. With like the Lord, and I like how he goes back there to be like, we got to go. There's new baddies here. And they still, like, I get to a degree, but even still, you think that just in the moment when it took him to sort of decide before he recognized.
Let's go. Oh, did you check his throat? Okay, no, let's go.
Yeah. I know that name is just right. But yeah, they've already taken like all this time as they talk about it and what it is and stuff like that now they're back in like panic mode. And I'm like, again, I guess they're waiting on Brioche. They, as far as, Harry knows, is they haven't made the connection to Gravane or Bony Tony or anything. They're for a completely different reason.
You know that moment in Scooby-Doo when they're running between door to door to door to door, the door to door to door, and then Shaggy and Scooby walk into a room and have a sandwich, and they're like, run, run, run. Wait a second, Scooby snacks first. Run, 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 run.
Yeah, right?
It's like, run, 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 run. Wait, solve a clue. Okay, run, 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 run.
Yeah, just about. I mean, on the one hand, I'm like, okay, they got time. They're not going because they're going to wait for Ray because they got the brush off from Bria. Like, he doesn't know who these people are, but they're not important enough for him to come out and deal with them right now. But yeah, instead of coming back, she's like, no, again, you couldn't have just fucking taken it while you were there? They're going to wait. She needs to get her hands on it so fast now that she can't come back in a couple hours in case he's done in like half an hour and she can get it then.
My secondary question would be, why didn't Brioche just call the cops on them? Because shouldn't it be pretty fair news to anyone involved in the case that the people that we are most...
Again, persons of interest?
Wouldn't anyone involved with the case be thinking like, oh yeah, we're aware that the assistants are the two most well-known persons of interest? And when Casey goes to Brioche and is all, hey, they're here, the assistants are here, and Brioche should be, oh, the cops are looking for them right now because they're the most number one suspects. And Brioche is like, who? Who gives a fuck? Fuck those guys. I feel like Brioche should be, yeah, Casey, call the cops on them. And also, Alicia and Lee shouldn't be so comfortable just walking around showing their faces off and saying, we're the assistants of the guy that suddenly ended up dead.
Okay, so, and just devil's advocate here or whatever. Okay, so first of all, maybe that's why Brioche blew them off. If he just come out and met with them now, he's like...
maybe he has called the cops behind them. We don't know.
Because again, Brioche is like, sure, he could totally pass that off and be like, oh, Casey, you call the cops. Or he could totally be like, hey, I'm going to be the one to break this thing wide open. I'm going to call myself. So yeah, he totally could just be, keeping them busy while, or it could be a case of they've assumed that the police have already gotten in touch with them and cleared them, or that if they want, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's not.
If this was Ducky or Abby, they'd be totally in on the loop on every aspect of the case.
They would be, but we have well established that Brioche is not Ducky or Abby.
Just because he's got beef with Butters doesn't mean that he's bad at his job otherwise.
No, but he's also just like, I don't know, pretentious kind of dick or whatever, right?
He doesn't believe in vampires. Yeah, fuck that guy. How dare he?
Yeah.
Isn't brioche a type of bread?
It is. Yes. It's actually a type of bread I quite like.
It's kind of like a dessert bread.
Yeah, it's like a sweeter kind of. Yeah.
But you said that? Okay, yeah. So he's a little doughy.
Little dough boy.
Oh, sugar and spice and everything nice.
Except none of those things. Sugar and spice and a pain in the frickin' ass.
Okay, grab your shit. Let's go. Picks up the poker suit. No, Butters. We're not taking that. No. Cut to the next scene. Clank, 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 clank.
I love that.
Stupid poker suit filled up most of the back of the SUV. I mean, I would expect that from the Beetle. Filling up most of the SUV is crazy.
Yeah, right.
This thing is huge.
He does say back seat, not so again, maybe the awkwardness of how it. I don't know.
Was Butters shoving this into his passenger seat, or was it in the trunk of the car, bed of the car?
He had a little mini truck. So
But would he risk it out in the elements?
Hey, you know what? This thing normally probably has like a fucking protective case or something, like a ginormous tuba case or something or it packs down into like parts, or he's just
I would imagine it has like 4 cases. The case for the tuba, the case for the drums, the case for the flute.
It depends how much it comes apart easily, or whether he has to pack it all together. If he can disassemble it each and every time, then they're all going into their own separate components. If it's got to stay
the only way I can imagine this thing is getting storage protection is just like a suit bag. It just goes around it all.
Yeah, so see, I can just imagine Butters got like some little like fuzzy blankets laid down and where he gently lay, and then he got like a canvasy tarp or something like relatively heavy duty that he puts over to make sure that
sadly it's getting banged up now.
But now it's just getting tossed into the backseat of an SUV.
Also very funny is Harry driving randomly around college end of town and just shouting, hey, out the window. Don't worry, a werewolf will show up. No problem.
Okay.
This is our signal.
Okay, he's not randomly. He drives into their parking lot. And then, he's not just randomly cruising that entire area.
It seems like it will be anywhere in the area.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that.
No.
Just wait for the signal. What's the signal? Me shouting, hey, out the window.
I pulled into the apartment's parking lot, leaned out, and yelled, hey. Okay, so
hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. That's the signal.
That's the signal.
Imagine Harry doing that.
So, he knew there was going to be somebody on guard on site, okay? He's not just, roaming the neighborhoods, waiting to be.
I do like, though, that he's like, hey, Kirby, park this thing. It's hard.
No, right? Again.
I keep fucking it up, and Kirby's just looking at the back.
What was that we were saying about the giant man that cannot drive any giant vehicles? Yeah.
The bumped up bumper, and Kirby's like, you don't say.
He's like, excuse me, 20-year-old college student, can you park this car for me? I'm so much older and mature and wiser to the world than you, but...
Well, exactly, because, it's such a typical thing where it's like, oh, I'm a man, I can park this car, and Harry's like, someone else has to do this for me.
Fuck this shit. I'm
not figuring this one out.
I'm good.
The door is ajar. The door is ajar.
It sort of gets zen after a while. Life is a journey. Time is a river.
Oh, yeah.
The door is ajar. That's
so good.
So cute.
Really good. You guys want to go get that tattooed together?
Maybe. There you go.
Podcast tattoo. All of us and you guys. Let's all go do it.
New t-shirt design.
Can you imagine how fun would that be to have like a total like international tattoo day where everybody just goes out and gets.
Yeah. September the 13th, guys. Friday the 13th. Let's do it.
Ooh. Is this going to be like a Rachel and Phoebe thing? What do you mean you chickened out and didn't get it? Really? Mine was licked on by kittens.
So they show up to Billy and Georgia specifically so that they can plug the USB in and read this information for Harry.
Yeah.
And also because this is a place that Harry feels no problem just eating their food and sleeping on their couch, apparently.
A little bit.
They're friends.
They're already involved. Yes, keep on
keeping on.
Very fair. Billy and Georgia were here one day ago saying, please, we want to help you in whatever way we can. And Harry's like, okay.
Oh, now you done it.
You dummies.
Yeah,
I'm going to show you why Murph and Michael take breaks from me.
Yeah, there's reasons they don't pop up in certain books, guys. But specifically to that point, I do like it because we don't see Billy and the Alphas all the time, right? It is 2-3 books in between, right? We haven't seen. But I like that this establishes that they do have a life and a friendship off camera and stuff like that, right? This implies that they do actually hang out enough where Harry is like, I know you guys have like computer shit that you can do this. I know that exactly. I can show up last minute. Like, yes, partially, sure, we just ran into each other, but exactly. I can show up and grab like a Coke and pizza out of your fridge and it's just going to be like totally cool. And, you know, don't have to be like, oh, hospitality and me, you know what I mean? I'm just like, just go hang with your bros. I'm like, and I like that Billy and Georgia is that hub too. Mm-hmm. Like it sort of gets established relative. I mean, again, Full Moon is hard because we don't see them in their own context. We see them in Harry's context, right? They are, right? But even then, you get a little bit because it's Billy and Georgia that are arguing in that one. So right there, you sort of get. But every moment after that, right? It's Billy and Georgia are still a thing. Billy and Georgia are still the head of this thing. It's Billy and Georgia's apartment that everybody hangs out. I'm like, I like that.
It's a nice constant.
Yeah. That they are just that the parents of that group, whatever, right?
The alpha of
the
alphas.
alphas of the alphas and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Cute little background plot growth.
Yes. Yeah, right? Just, again, those subtle details without having it.
I don't know how you sit on the couch. This is really not comfortable.
That's why I usually have the cushions in and behind me to, like, prop me up and stuff, too. Yeah, because you get too
I have a hip,
otherwise.
and it makes me feel old right now.
I have a hip, too. I have two hips.
I don't like it. This one right here is like, cunt.
Stop getting older, guys.
You can't say that word on the radio podcast.
Actually,
tits on the radio.
I just saw this argument that they're making in Europe and Australia and such about it's unfair that all the internet rules are depicted by America. We all use swears for everything, but we get demonetized because everything goes by American rules.
Right.
You guys are all such little bitch-ass babies that can't say swear words on the internet. We don't have that same level of scaredness of words, and yet we all can't talk on our YouTube channels the way that we normally would talk in real life because we get demonized by American
That's
language. Bullshit.
It's kind of a fair point. You're right. That I never, again, being in North America, I don't think about it as much, but yeah.
Like the translation, the dictations that are on it, that are always spelled wrong.
Yeah, right. Everything is, yeah.
And the stuff that gets changed is super ridiculous too.
Yeah. And it's such a process for it too. Anyways, just recently saw that argument. I was like, good point.
That's
fair.
That does. Yeah, you're right. That's we don't all swear the same.
So basically the plan is that Harry's going to be a dick and wake up Thomas for a 1-second phone conversation.
Okay, it's not like he knew, though.
I love how smart Mouse is. That's like, oh, the phone's ringing. Wake you up.
Yeah.
Mouse is like...
Dog.
Well, you know, Mouse knows this is Harry. He knows it's an important phone call.
This is also a very small apartment. Harry's got a rotary phone. Those things are fucking loud, okay? Those things did not have fucking volume control.
He's actually just, make this thing shut up, please. Make it stop.
Right? Mouse has very sensitive doggy ears, and he's like, answer the fucking phone, bitch. I'm like, do not make me listen to this thing 1 second more than I have to.
Where do you think Thomas was sleeping?
No, I can't.
On the couch or in Harry's bed?
Probably in Harry's bed.
I think in Harry's bed too.
Because the phone is next to the couch.
Yeah, he would have woken up if he was on the couch.
Mouse would have to sort of go get him somewhere. Yeah, it would have been much more likely. Yes, he was probably crashed out in the... But yeah, I like how it's just that whole...
Consoling himself in a couple of pillows.
It's just seeing if Angie's scent is still there, you know?
I don't think Thomas has hung up on anyone except Justine.
No, not that it'd be hung up. It's just like a comfort food, right? It's just the same thing. It's just, you know, he can't go out and get McDonald's right now. But
the fairies had time to come, okay?
I was going to correct myself. I was like, yeah, we know the fairies have been already. They've cleaned those sheets. But yeah, this to me is such a kind of typical brother interaction, though, too. Like, hey, how are you? I was fine. Or I'm fine. I was sleeping. Okay, so what's going on? No, I was sleeping. You shut the fuck up and let me go back to bed now. Okay,
did anyone come by or call? No. Okay. Like, I would hate you, Harry Dresden.
Right. My sister, she did this kind of thing to me. Yeah.
I just think of calling you sometimes. Sometimes, like, Mom's probably in bed at 10 o'clock, but my thing's really important, so I'm going to try anyways. And then you answer the phone, and I'm like, what time was I born again? And you're like, 1:17.
I don't know, but I can tell you what time you're going to die.
1:17. Okay, thanks, bye.
So close. It was 1:19 p.m.
Fuck. Just kill myself.
Yeah.
I think you're forgetting. I feel like I'm more connected to 1:17, so let's do that.
Maybe you were still thinking about it then?
At 117, I decided it's time to be born.
Maybe that's when like your big fat head made an appearance, but they don't count it until the rest of you kind of, I don't know.
Like, why is that kid wearing a watch?
I was born pretty good. My due date was on my aunt's birthday, and I was like, no, that's not going to work. I'm not sharing this shit with anyone. And then I was like, actually, Jesus, I'll share with you.
Ish.
I was born on Easter.
You were
that makes
born
it
on
about
Easter.
me, not him.
Yes, that's entirely how that works.
Yep.
Yeah. Just to clarify, no child of mine was born with a watch.
Hey, I was on time today, like 5 minutes early, actually.
But you were a week late to your own birth, so, you know.
It's actually one of those chess timers. Tick. And go. Woo!
I was waiting for a better day.
Yeah, apparently. Although you could have waited one more day and it would have been even better and you would have caused yourself a lot less trauma. Because there's nothing worse than, as I think Tanzan can relate, being born the day before the last day of a month. Because everybody just wants to think your birthday is the last day of the month.
Yeah, the day before Halloween is always like, oh, your birthday's on Halloween. I'm like, no.
Yeah, people, I do not acknowledge the 31st of March, admittedly.
Yeah.
Never acknowledged it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist. First 30 days of March, all my birthday. Last day of March doesn't exist. We get 2 April Fools.
Yeah, it's like a whole leap
I like it.
year thing and her it's just fucked up with the whole it's like there's always a leap year every year in March as opposed to I don't know. Yeah.
So Harry decides he's going to check some voicemails now, and this for me, forget the car, forget everything else you guys talked about today, I don't care. The phone voicemail system that it used to be was so fucking stupid. I remember what it was like having to dial a number and then type in your PIN and do all that. I fucking hated it. It was horrible and annoying and stupid.
Oh, Jessica, that actually is still the voicemail system we have. You just don't like it and never use it.
Well, yeah, I don't ever call voicemail.
Other people still push a button, get connected to their voicemail, have to enter in a code.
No, you don't have to enter codes anymore. You just call voicemail and it just starts talking to you.
My voicemail, I still have to put in my
I'm
code.
gonna put in a code.
Well,
Not me.
We can just all freely hear the messages that you never listen to. But yes, his voicemail system of an answering machine. Before we had this is like the introduction of voicemail here. Sorry. Because
I thought you were doing like a sound effect for voicemail.
I'm sorry, there's static on the line. But he had an actual answering service before where actual people took your messages if you weren't available. We didn't have any kind of recording device, let alone the actual like tape recorders that we started putting our
fancy.
Right? Pricey and expensive and
Either way, he's got a, as he puts it, a stored voicemail now.
yeah. So
So he doesn't have the human factor anymore.
Very boomer. I don't trust it anymore.
pros and cons. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, Harry's all like, no, people are out of a job. That, it's this whole thing. But yeah, exactly. It's still partially, I think, in the whole technology thing is the trust. But it's kind of still works because, again, it's still like across town. That's why he doesn't have an answering machine at home. Because that he was right. But am I still going to screw it up over the telephone line to get, yeah.
Someone else's phone. It's fine.
Because when he went in, they're like, okay, we're going to give you the computer on the opposite side in the far wall away from, right? There's like, we're going to go check this thing farthest away from you that we can. Make sure that you don't blow this up. And he's like, yeah, I still don't know if my voicemail, now that that's like not even people, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, he's got 3 voicemails, so he's a popular dude.
Super popular.
Mm-hmm. Very popular. First one,
And
Murphy.
he actually wants these messages.
Well,
okay.
maybe not Murphy's, but the other 2 are not bad.
He wants to get his messages. He just doesn't, end up liking what he gets. But yeah.
So the first message from Murphy is essentially useless. I've made it to my flight, and me and Kincaid are flirting a lot. Great. Thanks, Murphy.
Right?
Go fuck yourself.
Thanks for looking after my pants. I mean, my plans. Yeah. Harry's like, wow, fuck.
Fuck that bitch.
I mean, okay, cool, you arrived safe. Good to know I don't have to send out a search party, but fuck you.
Yeah. Kind of wish that you and Kincaid's plane crashed into the ocean,
Fuck
but
my
whatever.
luck, right?
Second one, Mike the mechanic. Your car's fixed. Already? He's amazing.
Hey, Mike. This is why we love Mike. This is why Harry loves Mike.
Mike, you are a fucking superstar.
You are, God bless Mechanic Mike.
Yeah.
Just
He's
Not to be confused with Mike and the mechanics.
not right.
potentially the,
Although God bless them too. They had one or two though.
most powerful character in the entire series.
Yes. That, yes.
And
Consistent one, at least.
Certainly the most successful one.
You know what, really? Because you're right. He resurrects, keeps that beetle going, saves her.
Who's the true necromancer? It's Mike!
But nobody ever comes after Mike. Mike's never hunted by zombies or, Michael's got shit and got to worry about his family. Murphy gets attacked all the time, has got to worry about shit. The alphas are going to get there. Mike really is the hero of this. I'm like, he's really keeps everything on track. And he manages to stay out. No.
Duke Ortega was even stalking like Lydia and Monica Wells and like all sorts of other clients. And still they were like, okay, but not the mechanic. He's just an honest Chicago man, earning a buck.
He's figured out the like Achilles heel of all they have to do, book 18, they're gonna take out Mechanic Mike.
Take out Mechanic Mike and Harry's
and he's
grounded.
Right.
Not that he has the beetle by book 18, but
Don't go there.
It's fine, it's fine.
It's not fine.
What? No.
We're allowed to speculate and have theories, but we can't just give out Yeah, they're just gonna
Goodbye, Mike. Maybe he died during Battle Chicago.
No wheels, no Harry. Harry's
Yep. So third voicemail, the most interesting of the batch, and potentially exacerbated by Murphy's phone call now too, is, "Oh, hello, Mr. Dresden. I'm so scared. Please come and rescue me."
Hello, I'm a damsel. I'm in distress. Is this the right number? Why, yes, it is.
It's his catnip. What? Hello?
My spidey sense is tingling. There's a girl I have to save somewhere. Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, so essentially Shiela felt scared at the shop last night and is wondering if Harry can come by Bocks.
I don't know why. It was just a feeling. There wasn't really anything there, but something gave me the heebie-jeebies.
I'm a little bit scared. Can you please come back?
And after that shit that went down here yesterday, I'm just thinking maybe I shouldn't ignore these heebie-jeebies.
Well, girl, what's a boy to do?
What's a boy to do? I mean, again, he doesn't like bad things happening to boys either. But girls, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, boys, whatever. Send them off to war. Who cares? But girls... Yep,
if he wanted any peace of mind, he was just gonna have to go talk to her by golly, by gee, by...
He's got no choice. He's got to do it.
Cricket.
By Jove.
I don't know if you noticed, Shiela, but I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. But sure, fine. Let's go hang out.
But she says she's going to be there till noon, and lo and behold, it's still only like 11 or just after or just before. So, hey, she's likely still there.
I mean, yeah, so if the Field Museum opened at 8 or 9 or whichever we decided, and then he grabs Butters and they go to the Emmy office and he waits an hour and then they rush out of there and rush to George's, I mean, we're cutting it close. You got to get down there now. Her shift is almost done. And also, what do you mean your shift is only until noon? Stay there all day.
Okay, first of all, definitely. She's going home at noon because she was there all night doing right? So that's why she's not doing like a full day visit here, is because she's wrapping up from the shit the night before. But again, she's got, fair, you got to tell me when to show up, or if you just give me an open-ended, it could literally be years.
He's going to keep putting it off. Sorry, I got things to do.
Not on purpose or because I don't want to see you. I'm just saying So she's got it right. So I'm going to be here till noon. That's right? Yeah.
And at the same time, Billy and Georgia have now figured out what's on this USB, and it's pretty useless. 16 numbers, that's it.
Ba-dum-bum.
That's weird.
Just the name of a folder, nothing in the folder, nothing else, nothing nowhere, blah, blah, blah.
Like, it's terribly unsecure to just put the file name itself as the, okay.
Right?
Like,
I was waiting for her to
sure, whatever.
And you know what? It's funny because, again, in the long run, whatever, if this is the only piece of information that's important, then you're right. You have to put, like, a file or something on there to be... But to me, it's just funny because I'm like, I don't think I would have done that. Like, I might not have made a folder, but I probably at least would have put that, like, in the document.
In the file, right.
Yeah, I would have made... And then save that. Now, I don't know, because what do you do then?
Just save it README.
Oh, I guess. Okay. See me,
some really typical name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess that would worry me. I would be like, this is the, I was like, my title of the document would be like, what this thing is, super duper secret, blah, 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 But okay, yeah, fine, yeah, you could just do like a README or something, and Gravane shit, haha, Gravane,
Whatever. Harry writes down the numbers and decides, okay, time to go do shit.
But yeah, again, to me, that's just weird that he didn't make that. Yeah, it's not a document with that number in it. It's just the name of it is the, empty folder.
And it takes him an awfully long time to figure out that it's just a string of numbers. Like, if he's got time to, like, call his messaging, call some random person to be like, we need to talk.
Yeah, they were fully... we're being duped here right now, right? Let's try opening it again.
Okay.
Click.
Okay. They are vigilante supernatural college students, okay? They were doing the deep dive on this and being like, okay, what's been erased? what can we
Scan it for viruses.
Let's pull a decracker program off and see if we can see what they think they deleted, but really it's still on there because is it right? Like they were doing the deep dive on this and making sure that they were, you know.
They're college students in 2006, okay? They're not
Which is
running
why
an
it took
FBI
so
operation.
long to figure out that this was. Again, okay, we're just looking for a computer with a USB. Who fuck knows how long it took this thing to boot up, how long it took this USB to load. Cannot locate hardware drivers. You know? It didn't just automatically. They had to go and find the right fucking drivers to install to read this thing in the first place. They had dial-up internet.
You know? So here's the plan.
DOS.
Billy's gonna drive Butters home, and he's gonna do everything in his power to not get followed while doing that. And Harry's gonna take a cab to go get the beetle.
Because, yeah, that's ready to go. So, you know what? Take your stupid fucking piece of shit car back. Thank you so much for loaning it to me. I don't ever want to set it in again. Please don't.
Call the manufacturer right now. I know Billy and Georgia gave it to him with the full intention that Harry was going to fuck it up, but I still imagine Billy getting into that driver's seat like, what the fuck, dude?
Like, again, being like, okay, I expected the doors ajar. I'm not surprised by the fact it thinks I'm in Helsinki.
Why am I missing the right
Drive into a man. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, what the fuck is the body damage? Dude.
Oh my god, were you attacked by something? Yeah, dude. Fuck. This fucking...
Where did you get your driver's license? In, like, an underground tunnel in Edinburgh? Like, come on, what the fuck? Where did you learn to drive? Pulling a course card on a fucking Ozark, Missouri farm?
Yeah, right.
Bumper cars.
Right. I only ever drove farm vehicles, and those things don't give a shit, you know? It's like,
You know when you get enough tickets and things and they'll just revoke your license? I'm shocked
I
hasn't...
don't know, Jessica.
I'm shocked they haven't done that to Harry because, yeah, the process for him getting it back would be brutal.
Right. Maybe the demerit system works a little differently there, or maybe this is, again, that ultimate thing where it's behind the scenes, but we just don't realize just how many tickets. Murphy's like, you got to pay the fines. I will erase the demerits because that's it. Either you're going to lose your license and they're going to kill Mike and we just won't have any more books. Like, it's no good having the car running if you can't drive the car. That's actually true because I was like, I mean, obviously a lot of them, like, for instance, this is a non-reported incident, but I'm like, actually, you're right. For the number of times that I'm sure Harry does get pulled over for speeding or parking or having his car blow up in the middle of the road while waiting at a stoplight, like, yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't lost his license, dude.
This concludes our episode 13.13, Bony Tony. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.